In Phoenix, Arizona, a suburban housewife named Connie is arrested in the middle of the night, right in her own home. She doesn't resist. Instead, as the police take her away, her mind flashes back to how it all began months ago. Connie wasn't always just a housewife. She was once a 3-time Olympic gold medalist in race walking. But unlike other sports, race walking didn't make her rich or famous. Now, she lives with her husband Rick, an IRS auditor, and their marriage is anything but happy. They tried for years to have children, spending a fortune on treatments. When Connie finally got pregnant, tragedy struck. She lost a baby. After that, Rick took a job that kept him away 3 weeks every month. When he was home, he wasn't kind. He constantly reminded Connie that she was jobless, blamed her for wasting money on fertility treatments, and mocked her for her obsession with coupons. And that obsession? It was real. Connie hoarded coupons like they were treasure. She used them to buy things in bulk, filling the empty nursery with stacks of products, maybe to hide the pain of her loss. But there was one upside to Rick's absence. She got to befriend her neighbor, JoJo. JoJo had her own struggles. She ran a YouTube channel about saving money and lived with her mother, Josie. She had trouble finding work ever since someone stole her identity. To make ends meet, she flirted with the mailman, Earl, and tried selling makeup door to door, but that wasn't going well either. Whenever Connie went shopping, she handed cashier Greg stacks of coupons. It held up the line, sure, but it also meant she paid just $16 for a cart full of groceries instead of $100. She always said, "Watch the pennies, and the dollars will take care of themselves." One afternoon, as she was putting groceries away, she spotted the baby-themed wallpaper still lining the nursery walls. It hit her like a punch to the gut. Overwhelmed, she grabbed a box of cereal and started eating straight from the bag, hoping somehow that it might fill the emptiness inside her. Connie pours herself a bowl of cereal, only to find out it's stale. Frustrated, she fires off a complaint email to the company. A few days later, she gets a letter of apology in the mail, along with a coupon for a free box. Feeling smug, she heads to the store to claim her prize. But Greg quickly bursts her bubble, telling her that companies always send free coupons to anyone who complains. That gives Connie an idea. If one complaint can get her free cereal, why not try it with other products? So, she starts writing complaint letters to different companies, even when there's nothing wrong. Soon, she's drowning in free coupons. When she shows off her growing stash to JoJo, her friend is stunned. JoJo even offers to buy a coupon from her because it's cheaper than paying full price. That's when Connie has a light bulb moment. Selling these free coupons means 100% profit. Curious, she digs around online and discovers that coupons are printed in Mexico, not far from where she lives. A crazy idea forms. What if they steal a bunch and sell them? JoJo is hesitant, but with her deep in debt, she reluctantly agrees. Meanwhile, in Nevada, a loss prevention officer named Ken is on duty at a supermarket. When a cashier struggles to process an old lady's coupon, Ken steps in and immediately recognizes it as fake. The store manager wants to let it slide since she's been a loyal customer for years, but Ken refuses. Rules are rules. His harsh attitude earns him some choice insults from the old lady. Ken's stubbornness doesn't stop there. On his flight home, a mother kindly asks if he'd swap seats so her daughter can see the landing and feel less anxious. But Ken coldly refuses, saying the kid needs to learn a life lesson. He returns to his lonely apartment in Utah, angrily shouting at the TV. Back in Mexico, Connie and JoJo arrive at the coupon factory and watch the workers finishing their shifts. They set their sights on Alejandro and Rosa, a couple who seem to already be bending the rules but don't look too dangerous. When Connie and JoJo start following them, the couple thinks they're about to be robbed. But once Connie explains they're just looking for help, Alejandro and Rosa invite them into their home for a talk. Rosa finds out she's pregnant, but she and Alejandro barely make enough to get by. That's when Connie and JoJo make them an offer. If they steal coupons from the factory, Connie and JoJo will sell them in the US and split the profits. Alejandro isn't sure about it, but Rosa convinces him. It's all for their baby's future. The plan is simple. The factory has 2 sections: printing, where Alejandro works, and redemption, where Rosa works. Normally, workers don't know what happens on the other side. Every coupon printed has extras that are meant to be destroyed. But instead of trashing them, Alejandro can slip them into boxes that get shipped out with other deliveries. There's no risk at the border. After all, it's just a box of coupons. A few days later, Connie and JoJo receive their first batch. They quickly set up a website to sell them and promote it on Connie's YouTube channel. The business takes off, bringing in huge profits. But it doesn't take long for supermarkets to notice something's off. Ken, a fraud investigator, starts getting complaints from store managers about major losses. Determined to find the source, he tracks a credit card used for one of these suspicious purchases. After 11 days of digging, he visits a housewife who used one of the coupons and learns about the website selling them. He checks it out and finds a slogan: "If you watch the pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves." Meanwhile, Connie and Jojo hit a major problem. Their PayPal account is frozen because they made too much money too fast. To get it back, they need to prove their business is legit. Panicked, they turn to Tina, a notorious hacker on the dark web. Tina is furious. She warns them that promoting the scheme so openly was a huge mistake. It can all be traced back to them. She forces them to delete Jojo's videos and tells them the only way to stay safe is to set up a fake front to make their money look clean. They set themselves up with fake IDs, multiple bank accounts, and a hidden location to work from. But there's one rule: they must wait 6 months before spending any money. This gives time for all connections to their real identities to disappear. Tina, in exchange for a 10% cut, hands them an encrypted USB stick to store their important files securely. Thanks to her, there's no trace of them left online. Meanwhile, Ken turns to the FBI for help. The agents brush off his concerns, finding the idea of a coupon scam ridiculous. They assign the case to Albert, the lowest-ranking investigator, who takes it simply because he has nothing else to do. With Jojo's cosmetics brand as a front and Tina's fake IDs, the scam flourishes once again. Ken, however, keeps bombarding the FBI with messages. 6 months pass, and they're finally ready to enjoy their fortune. But there's a catch. Tina had warned them that their money was dirty and needed to be cleaned. Connie remembers a story from Rick about a former client and hatches a plan. They'll buy luxury items, resell them, and make the money appear legitimate. Convincing banks to give them cash under the pretense of hiring employees for their cosmetics business, Connie and Jojo go on a massive shopping spree. They splurge on sports cars, boats, a private jet, and even firearms. Afterward, they head to Las Vegas to plan their future. Jojo wants to pay off her mother's mortgage, while Connie dreams of trying fertility treatment again. Then, Ken finally gets the call he's been waiting for. Albert informs him that their online tracks have been wiped clean by an expert, making digital investigation useless. But there's a breakthrough. The scammers are using traditional mail to send the fake coupons. Albert brings in Simon, a postal inspector, to take over. Simon asks Ken to order some coupons from the site to examine their operation. When the envelope arrives, he spots a crucial mistake. It claims to be from Kansas, but the special markings on the online stamp reveal it was actually sent from Arizona. That's the lead they need. Simon decides to fly to Phoenix, bringing Ken along since he knows all the local supermarkets. The chase is officially on. Connie books an appointment at a fertility clinic and asks Jojo to come along for support because she hasn't told Rick about it. The doctor warns her that this is her last chance to get pregnant, so she makes a bold decision. She chooses to use a donor instead of her husband's. That evening, Tina calls again, demanding to know where all the money is gone. When she hears their explanation, she loses her temper. They completely miss the point. By using Jojo's cosmetics brand, they had already laundered the money. Now, they have to sell everything they bought and slowly deposit the cash back into the bank in small amounts each day. When Rick returns from his business trip, he notices the brand new TV Connie has bought. She tells him she got a new sales job and doesn't use coupons anymore. Rick is thrilled, calling her his new wife, which only makes Connie more certain about going through with the fertility treatment using a donor. Meanwhile, detectives Ken and Simon are questioning local cashiers, trying to find a customer obsessed with coupons. When they reach Greg, he gives them a breakthrough. He doesn't know Connie's name, but he describes her appearance and even mentions her 2 pennies motto, something Ken recognizes from a website. The next day, they visit the local post office, asking if anyone remembers a blonde woman using coupons. Nobody recalls Connie, but the mention of coupons sparks a reaction. The workers quickly rat out Earl, saying he was always watching Jojo's money-saving tips on YouTube. Meanwhile, Connie and Jojo struggle to sell all their stuff on eBay. It's just too much. While taking a break at a cafe, they overhear 2 men from a gun club and get their club's address. Later, they visit with all their weapons for sale. Jojo delivers an incredible sales pitch, but the club leader refuses. Desperate to offload everything, they offer a big discount if the club buys all the weapons at once. The deal is sealed. At the same time, Ken and Simon bring Earl in for questioning, but he refuses to talk. After being released, Earl secretly delivers a note to Jojo's house, hiding it inside an envelope with the bills. Josie picks it up without realizing its importance. But there's one thing Earl doesn't know. Ken and Simon followed him. Now, they're parked outside, watching Jojo's house, ready to wait as long as it takes. By the time Jojo gets home, it's already dark. The men watching her recognize her. She's the same woman the housewife saw in that viral YouTube video. Unaware of the danger lurking, Jojo jumps out of her car and starts dancing in her driveway, celebrating the incredible deal she scored earlier. The next morning, Jojo is too caught up in an argument with Josie to check the mail. She drives off to the stash house like usual, completely unaware that Ken and Simon are tailing her. When they spot Connie, they realize she matches Greg's description, the blonde woman they've been looking for. Simon gathers a team of postal inspectors, and with Greg confirming their identities, the operation is officially in motion. Later that night, Jojo struggles to sleep. She checks on her mom, then heads to the kitchen for a snack. That's when she finally notices Earl's note, warning her to leave town. But it's too late. Simon and his team storm in, arresting Jojo, Connie, and Josie. Their homes and the stash house are raided, and soon, Jojo's face is all over the news. Watching from afar, Earl is shocked. During questioning, Rick and Josie quickly throw up their hands, claiming innocence and agreeing to cooperate. Jojo tries to play dumb, but investigators find incriminating videos on her computer. Connie confesses, but is horrified to learn that they could face 40 years to life for fraud. Desperate to protect Jojo, she takes full responsibility, striking a deal for a lighter sentence in exchange. Jojo is released on bail, thinking Josie paid for it. But outside, waiting with flowers, is Earl, the real one who bailed her out. Connie isn't as lucky. Rick refuses to help her and only shows up to scold her. Heartbroken, she asks for a divorce. Meanwhile, the investigation leads authorities to Alejandro and Rosa, the masterminds behind the scam. But by the time they make the connection, the couple has already vanished. With the trail gone cold, the Mexican government decides not to pursue them. Connie hires a top-notch, expensive lawyer, and it turns out to be the best decision she could make. On the day of the trial, the lawyer argues that Connie and Jojo didn't do anything different from what big corporations do all the time, just using a loophole to their advantage. The strategy works. Jojo gets off with just 10 days in jail and a year of probation. Connie, however, receives an 11-month sentence, but with the possibility of parole. Simon and Ken are furious with the outcome and demand an explanation from the state attorney. The answer? The brands affected by the scam push for leniency. They didn't want bad press. To these massive corporations, losing $80 million was nothing more than pocket change. With the case closed, Simon prepares to leave. Before going, he tells Ken he's a good man and that he enjoyed working with him, but also advises him to ease up on the tough guy act. Life moves on. Ken softens up, occasionally letting old customers slide with fake coupons. He even takes a leap and creates a profile on a dating app. Connie gets the divorce she wanted, and her fertility treatment is a success. She spends her time in prison with a growing baby bump. The authorities seize most of the money from the scam, but they overlook some boxes in the nursery, assuming they're just food. Jojo, however, knows better. Connie stashed cash inside them. Once Jojo reunites with Earl, they flee to Montenegro, a country with no extradition, where they start a new scam under a different cosmetics brand. They're just waiting for Connie to get out, so the team can get back to business.